Hello everyone, I am back with another video, and as you can see, I am not behind the camera for this one. I'm actually behind a microphone, and that is kind of a reflection of where I'm headed here with my channel and what I kind of want to focus on moving forward. And so I'm kind of removing myself from the YouTube space and moving into the podcast space. For a number of reasons, we'll get into that, but the podcast itself is called Otaku Brothers, and I'm actually doing it with my brother-in-law, Ryan, and we already had the first episode up. It's currently being hosted on podbean.com, and all the information will be linked in the description of this video, but we will be on iTunes shortly, and I plan to, if demand is there, upload to other sites as well to make sure that all of our listeners can, appropriately enjoy the content of this podcast. But I've been wanting to do a podcast for a number of years now, and a couple of years ago, I did actually start one with my buddy Travis here on YouTube. But I was in school at the time and really just couldn't commit to a bi-weekly or even monthly podcast because with school and my extracurricular activities that I was involved in college, I just really couldn't give my heart and soul into something when I had so many other things going on. But fortunately, I'm in a time of my life now where I recently finished my CPA exam. I passed that, thankfully, and from an educational perspective, I'm kind of finished. Hopefully I might go back for something else way down the road, but that's kind of out of the question right now. So I'm so excited that I have the time and the means to really delve into stuff that I'm most passionate about, and that is the video games and just geek culture, honestly, as the name of our podcast, Otaku Brothers, would kind of indicate. And so all of the links to the show will be in the description of this video, but the podcast is currently being hosted on podbean.com, and we will be uploading to iTunes very shortly once everything is kind of approved, and you'll be able to find it there at Otaku Brothers. So very excited about that. Again, podcast is what I've been wanting to do for a very long time, ever since listening to All Gen Gamers since episode 1 back in 2010. But before I really get into what the podcast is going to be about in the future of that, I kind of want to take a step back and just talk about, my YouTube channel and why I even got started on YouTube to begin with, and kind of how that went over the past, it's almost 8 years now. I think June of 2010 was when I uploaded my first video. So we're coming across the 8-year mark, which is truly mind-blowing to see what has even happened in my own personal life since then. But kind of, again, taking a step back to the origins of YouTube for me and why I got started with my channel. So Ari Lewis 2011 is obviously the name for my channel, and as that would indicate, I never really had any intentions of making video game related videos or videos at all. I actually only created my account because at the time I had gotten a Nintendo DS, and I was looking to kind of collect for that and find out games that I should be playing for that system. And I'd also at the time recently reacquired a Nintendo 64. And I actually talk about this quite a bit in the first episode of the podcast, but I'll kind of reiterate a little bit here just for you guys and for your own sake. But I was just basically searching on YouTube for people talking about Nintendo DS and Nintendo 64 so that I could get just good recommendations. I grew up playing the Nintendo 64, so I had an idea of what I wanted to get, but I was looking for other recommendations as well. So if you've been in the YouTube space for a number of years, or the gaming community as it once was, when it was alive and thriving back in 2010, I came across TV and Lust, Craig, one of my very good friends on Twitter now. We talk very regularly back and forth, and I came across his videos, and as anyone would know, he is the Nintendo DS aficionado. He knows everything there is to know about the system. He's been collecting very heavily for the system since it was released, and even the 3DS, its successor, he's also a very avid collector for that. But I came across his videos and really took a liking to his content and what he was putting out, and just his perspective on video games and his knowledge especially really struck me. And FinGamer as well, as it related to the Nintendo 64, he of course has a now complete N64 collection. It was really cool to kind of subscribe to his channel at a time where he wasn't quite there with a complete collection, and over the years, with his collecting updates, he eventually made it. And then seeing his N64 collection video once he had a complete collection was really something special to be able to see that progression over the years. But what I found most interesting at the time was that I was commenting on these people's videos, both Craig and FinGamer, and they would respond to my comments. And for me, it was almost like I was conversing with a celebrity. It really blew my mind at the time that these people, when I would ask questions about particular games or collecting or how they got into the hobby or where they purchased the bulk of their games, because they were getting these large quantities of games at any one time during their collection update videos, and they would respond to me, and that really meant something to me, and so that alone really struck a chord with me personally. And I started getting into the community a little bit more, watching additional videos, and I came across people like Pete Dorr, and it is very similar in that I was commenting on their videos and getting responses, and it was just something very, very cool to me. Something that I think is very lost nowadays, because I just don't feel like that community aspect is really there, which is very, very unfortunate, but I'm also very thankful that the 4 years that I was very involved in the community, when I was consistently uploading videos, that I would consider, the 2010 to 2012 to 14 time frame, really when that community was thriving. But in any case, shortly thereafter, I was watching these people's videos, and it was something that, I kind of thought to myself, I think I can do this, not that I was in any way competing with these other people's videos, like, Craig and Pete and FinGamer, but it was just something that I wanted to do for myself, talk about the hobby and have an outlet, really a voice, to the public, to basically talk about this hobby that I loved. And it wasn't really I was adding such a unique and diverse perspective, but I just wanted to be a part of it more than anything else. So I joined it. I started creating videos, and I think my first video was a unboxing video for Dragon Ball Origins 2 on the Nintendo DS, and I actually did a review for that as well. And I uploaded several videos after that, not really honing in on any one thing. I did a very similar thing to what people were doing in the community at the time, doing unboxings, collection update videos, games I picked up recently, games I'd been playing recently. There's one series in particular that I am particularly fond and proud of that I did do, was the Growing Up in the 90s series. So I did videos based on kind of, honing in on three different things. I think it was three. I did Growing Up in the 90s, music, video games, and movies. Maybe I did TV shows as well, but it was basically like a 3 to 4 part series, basically digging deep into then and now, kind of a look retrospective series of how things were in the 90s growing up as it related to video games and movies and TV shows and the like, and kind of comparing that to now. So that series I was very kind of proud of and happy that I was able to kind of put out and kind of share that with people, because it's something that I'm very, very fond of, is the 90s, and it's something that will certainly be a topic of interest on the podcast moving forward. But yeah, so as I think I started in 2010. I graduated high school in 2011, and as I got into college, of course, my content dwindled a little bit, just because my college courses certainly took priority over my YouTube channel, but I still enjoyed my time with the community, and even just taking or getting a chance to guest host on certain podcasts like Hey Listen with Zach and Cole, and then I was on another gaming podcast with Chance and Dustin and Steven, which was really good fun. And forgive me for if there were any other podcasts that I was a guest host on, but there were a number of shows that I was on, and it was just really a treat to, again, everyone was just so coming alongside each other, just helping each other out, and I really enjoyed that aspect of it. But as I've gotten older, and Lauren and I, my wife, we put out a few videos, but I quickly noticed that the community is just not there. It's not so much that I want and desire the viewership, but even how YouTube is structured now, I feel like you can't as easily recognize or know when your subscribers put up new videos, especially some of the lesser known people like myself. It's tougher to recognize when people like us upload videos. And so I just want to make sure that, or not even so much make sure, but I still want to have that outlet where I can talk about this passion, this love of video games and 90s culture and just geek culture that I've grown up with and just grown so close to over the years. I want to be able to share that with people. And I felt like a podcast was the next kind of step for me. And so I invested in a nice mic, so hopefully the quality of this video is coming in nicely for you guys, and as did my brother-in-law. And I got a new MacBook Pro, and so that's what we're kind of recording on. Nothing too fancy, I'm not going really over the top here with audio recording software or anything like that, but I definitely did want to make sure that the audio quality was at least mediocre. You gotta at least make sure that people aren't digging their eardrums out because I'm screaming into the mic, or it sounds really just scratchy or whatever. So I'm just excited about what Ryan and I have in store for you guys. For those of you that will kind of hop on board with the podcast, I hope you do. I hope we can get a consistent 10 to 15 people at a bare minimum listening to the show. I think that'd be great. And we have a Gmail as well where you can write into the show for listener feedback and questions that we can read on the show. We're really excited about kind of the potential of you guys doing that and just getting, again, that community aspect is what I want most with this podcast. I want you guys as the listeners to be involved with the show, whether it be, the segments that we have. We certainly have things in mind. We have ideas for, we have at least 30 to 40 ideas for show topics that we want to do, not taking into consideration things that are going on in the industry, like, E3 predictions and breaking down E3 and, other things that might be going on as far as press conferences and stuff like that. But, we just want to make sure that you guys are involved in helping us get better, the quality, the audio, whatever it might be. We want you guys to be involved with making the podcast better and just being a part of it, whether we have people on as guests. I love to have some of my personal favorite YouTubers from back in the day to join the show. Like if I can get Pete Dorr, even Craig, or Steph Studef, people like that on the show. I think that'd be great. Just to have those additional perspectives would be wonderful. So that's my hope with the show. We have fun things in store. Our first episode, which is currently available on Podbean, soon to be available on iTunes, is basically breaking down how Ryan and I got into video games in the first place. So our first experiences playing video games, kind of the first consoles that we started playing on, and then we go into talking about each of our top 10 video games of all time. So that was a lot of fun. He and I did not share our lists prior to recording, so it was kind of fun to get those raw reactions from each other as far as what our top 10 games were. And even just, one of the reasons why I wanted Ryan on the show is because, one, he and I think, get along very well. I think our chemistry comes across as very genuine on the show. At least I hope it will. I think it does. But we definitely have a more diverse taste in games. He's much more in tune with the newer releases, and I think I still have an ear for nostalgia. Not that he doesn't, but I think I definitely gear more towards the older systems that I enjoyed growing up, like the N64 and the Game Boy Advance and even the Game Boy Color and things like that. And so I'm excited to even talking about games that we've been playing recently. He may be talking about God of War. I might be talking about Extreme Sports and the Game Boy Color. So I'm excited to have that diversity in taste and opinion and just perspective. So we're really excited about it. We're basically going to be recording on a bi-weekly schedule unless we let you guys know otherwise. If we can record weekly, we are going to definitely strive for that. But real life definitely gets in the way, and so bi-weekly is what we're going to commit to. And so again, the podcast name is Otaku Brothers. Again, all of that information will be in the show notes below. But definitely let me know how you guys have been doing. I know it's been a while since even Lauren and I have uploaded a video, so drop a comment in the description below and let me know how you guys are doing. Let me know if there's any topics that you guys want us to cover specifically. We're definitely taking everything into consideration here because while we have some great ideas, it's always nice to get listener feedback and some ideas from you guys. So I just want to thank you guys again for showing my channel support. The fact that I even have made it to, at one point, 2,500 subscribers is mind-boggling to me. My 17, 16-year-old self, whatever it was when I first started my channel, never would have thought that 2,500 people would be tuning into my channel on a regular basis to listen to what I had to say about Lord of the Rings video games and Disney movies. Like, that's just was never in my my mind that that many people would have had any interest in what I was saying. So I just want to thank you guys for that and showing me support over the years, and even while I was in college, just the encouragement and support that I was getting even when I wasn't uploading videos. So it just goes back to the community aspect and why I got involved in the community to begin with, is that I've really met some really close friends here in the community that I certainly have not taken for granted. I've met some really cool people. Unfortunately, I haven't met enough of you in person, but even Dustin Christ, I was able to meet in person. Him and I met up and went game shopping. We met for lunch at Subway, of course, as us gamers do. And I met one of my friends, Ben. Such a good guy. Him and I went game hunting as well, and he's married now. I'm married now, so it's just wild to see how far a lot of us have come over the past 8 years that I've been making videos on YouTube. It's pretty wild. So I hope that I could be making another video here 8 years from now, and the podcast is still going strong, and Ryan and I have 200 episodes under our belt. But who knows? I really have no idea where the show is going to go, but I definitely have great hope for it. So I hope you guys will come alongside me again with this show, Otaku Brothers, and let's tune in and definitely get involved in the discussion as far as writing into the show and all that fun stuff. So signing off for not the last time, you guys. I love you. This community is great, and I've met some really great people here. And I just want to thank you guys for all the support you've showed me over the years. So stay tuned for great things ahead. And I hope you guys will tune into Otaku Brothers here on a bi-weekly basis. It should be a lot of fun. So I will see you guys very soon. Bye now.